give you about 1 more minute. Alright, let's go over this. Alright, so it says find the area of these shapes. So the first one, what shape is this?
Triangle.
It's a triangle. So what's the formula for the area of a triangle? One person raise your hand, let me know.
Pi. Area equals base times height half. 1/2 base times height.
1/2 base times height, or remember I told you it's base times height divided by 2.
Yeah.
When you multiply anything by a half, you're really dividing by 2. Okay? Alright, so now I'm going to look at this triangle and I'm going to label my base and my height. Okay? Notice that they give us 4 dimensions. We can't use all 4, right? We have to know which ones to use. So, what's my base?
15.
15.
Middle
It's going to be
6.
15 times.
6.
And how do we know that the base is 6? Someone raise your hand and tell me. How do we know that the 6 is our height and not the 9? You're not.
Because there's a line right there.
And it's got a right angle next to it.
Okay, remember I told you bases and heights have to be perpendicular. So since this is a right angle, that is the height. Okay, so I'm going to apply that times 6. And then we divide that by 2. Okay? And then 15 times 6?
90.
90. So this is 90 divided by 2. Someone raise your hand and tell me what is 90 divided by 2. 90 divided by 2.
45.
45. Okay? Now remember to include your units here. So this is 45. And you'll notice that we have meters. So this is meters squared. Okay? Alright, so any questions on that one? Alright. Now let's look at this one. This one we know is a what? What kind of shape is that?
Square.
It's a square. Remember I told you the formula for area of a square is S squared because all sides are equal. Okay? So this is the same thing as multiplying whatever the side is by itself. Okay? Not quite.
18 times 18.
18 times 18. Okay? Alright, so this is 18 times 18 or 18 squared.
64.
Okay, hold on. One person raise your hand and tell me what is 18 times 18. Someone I haven't heard from today. What'd you say?
300.
Not 72. What'd you get, Michaela?
306.
Not 306.
No,
I want to give everybody a chance right now. I want you doing that on your paper if you haven't already. Desiree, thank you for raising your hand.
324.
324. Okay, remember this is miles squared. Okay?
I times 8 by 8 and I got 64.
8 times 8 is not 16.
64.
Alright, any questions on that one? Because we're going to use this for the material we're doing in a minute. Alright, the last one. The last one is a what kind of shape is that?
Rectangle.
A rectangle.
I
Okay?
remember that one.
So what's the formula for area of, hold on. What's the formula for area of a rectangle, Alonso? Base times height or length times width, it depends on the orientation of the shape.
Divided by 2.
Hold on, not divided by 2 because this is a rectangle, so we don't have to divide it by 2. So in this case, what's my base?
6.9 and your height is 2.
And my height is 2 and 4/10. Okay, so I multiply those two. And then one person raise your hand and tell me what is our area for this rectangle here. Let's see, someone I haven't heard from today. Let's see.
4 and 10.
Monica, what'd you get?
16.56.
Alright, good job. 16 and... Alright, any questions on those three? Because we're going to need this material in a minute. No, towards the end of class. Okay, so what we're going to talk about today, this relates to what we're talking about today. What we're going to do today is we're going to work on what we call composite figures. How many of you guys have heard of those words before?
We're working on right figures.
Not really. You're working on figures in areas,
Yeah.
but not composite figures, so it's a little bit different.
We're doing that.
No.
No, this is last year. Alright, so first thing I want you to look at, or I want you to know, is the definition of a composite figure. Alright, so a composite figure is composed of two or more shapes. Okay? So it could be maybe a square and then a triangle together, right? It could be what we call a semicircle, means half of a circle, with a rectangle attached to it, and you have to find the area. So what you're going to have to do is you actually have to break up some of these shapes into various shapes, okay, into the 2 or 3 shapes that it is. So what we're going to do is I'm going to give you this packet that we're going to work on together. Okay? When you get this, you can put your name on it. Okay, so if you look at that first box, okay, and actually that first column all the way down, those are composite figures. That's what a composite figure looks like, okay? Do you see how they have more than one shape inside of them?
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm going to show you a method for solving for the area of a composite figure, okay? There's various methods to solving for composite figures, but I'm going to show you one. I'm going to show you, to me, the easiest one, yes. Okay. So are you ready for the first one? We're going to do one together. Then I'm going to give you a chance to try one on your own. And then we'll do the last 2 together. And then towards the end of class, you're going to do something with your group. And then you're going to do that at the bottom. Yes, Brian? Yes. Okay.
How many people per group?
Just your row. You want me to set the clock? Let me tell you. Alright, so let's go ahead and do a few of these together. So the first one, how many shapes do you see here?
2. 1.
1.
2.
2, we see 2, okay? We see 2 different shapes, okay? So what I want you to do, I want you to go ahead and take your pencil or whatever it is you're writing with, and we're going to separate the 2 shapes, okay? We're going to just draw a dotted line to separate the 2. So here's my dotted line here. First shape, and this is my second shape, okay?
Does it have to be a dotted line?
So question.
Oh yeah. When you go to my notes, you have to like...
We're going to go over it, so let's go through it, and then if you still have a question about how to do it, then you can ask, okay? Only because I think you'll understand after I do one example with you. Yeah.
I can't see it.
Look. Alright, so first thing I want you to do, I want you to label each shape, okay? So this is going to be A1, and this is going to be A2, okay? And all that means is the area of one shape, the area of the second shape, okay? Because you want the area of the total shape together, okay? So what we're going to do first is find the area of one, but we need to make sure that we have the dimensions properly labeled, okay? So they said this is 8. This 16 is the entire thing all the way across, okay? This here measures 4, this here measures 7, okay? I'm not quite sure what this measures just yet, and I'm not sure what this measures, okay? But could I figure out what this measures here?
Yes.
Yeah, so someone raised your hand and told me, how do I figure out what that measures there?
It's 8.
Raise your hand. Leo, first tell me how you figure it out. Don't just give me the answer.
You
Tell me
have
how.
to see which one of the sides equals to that one. Which one's the same thing?
What are we trying to find, miss? The square.
Not quite. How do we figure out what this side measures here? Okay, Luis.
This, the base is the same thing as the.
All sides are equal.
Yeah.
But do we know what this side is?
It's 8. All of it is 16 if it's all of them are equal. Not together.
Okay, now, here is my next point. Listen up carefully. Okay? Now, just because it looks like a square does not mean that it's a square. You have to use the numbers that are given to you, because that's going to be more important. Yes, it may look like a square, but you have to use your numbers to verify that it's a square. Does that make sense? Okay, so we're going to go back and look at our numbers first before I start saying it looks like a square. You have to verify based on your numbers first, okay? So that's a good point. You have to make sure that based on the numbers, so then if they give you numbers, that's going to be more important than what it looks like. So if it just looks like a square, but they don't tell you, or they don't give you the dimensions of it, then you cannot assume that it's a square, or you cannot assume that it's equal. You cannot assume that this side is equal to this side. Okay, you have to look at the numbers they give you, okay? All right, so I'm going to look here. They've given me that this side is 8, this side is 16 here, okay? They tell me this side is 7 here, okay? Can I use that 7 to figure out what this is?
Yes.
No.
Yes.
I heard yes and no.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, George, how would I use this 7 to verify what this side is?
You can. Like the length of it.
No.
What do you mean by the length of it?
Like.
Alright, pay attention. If this is 7 right here, okay? This side is 7 as well, right?
Yeah.
So what do I need here to make 16?
The same thing as
Not 8.
16.
9.
9. I need 9 meters here because this is 9. Right here, this is 9, this is 7. The entire thing is 16. Do you see that these two added together give me this entire thing?
Yeah.
Okay? So you're working backwards. You're working with what they give you. They give us the entire thing here being 16. They tell us this section is 7, so this section has to be 9. So now if I look at that rectangle, I looked at all sides are not the same now. Do you see that? Hold on. Do you see that all sides are not the same now?
Yeah. Yes.
So is that a square?
No.
No, right? It looks like a square, but that's why it's important that you use the dimensions given to you. Okay? All right, Luis, what part didn't you understand?
Did you get the 9?
Okay, so we know this entire thing is 16, right? They tell us that from here to here, and remember this is a rectangle, so opposite sides or parallel sides are equal, right? This is 7, so this side has to be 7, okay? The entire thing measures 16 though, right?
Yeah.
How would I figure out what's missing here?
Subtract.
You're going to subtract 16 and 7 and get what?
9.
9, because this side here would be 9 as well.
But why do you have to subtract?
Okay? Because we don't know that area, right? We don't know that dimension. So the only way I can figure it out is using the dimensions given to me. That's why you cannot assume that it's a square or a rectangle or these sides are the same or they look the same, because the dimensions are going to be more important, right? Because if we had just said 8, that would have been wrong, right? We had said, oh, that looks like a square, we're going to put 8 there. We would have been wrong. So that's why it's important that you verify using the dimensions given to you, okay? So any questions on how I got this part? Okay, so now I'm going to go over here and use my area calculation section to actually show work, okay? So I'm going to do one shape at a time, so the area of shape 1. So the first thing you need to do is verify what kind of shape it is. So what shape did we say this was? Not a square.
Rectangle.
A rectangle, because not all sides are equal, right? So what is the formula for area of a rectangle? Base times height or length times width, right? I'm going to use length times width. So what am I multiplying here? 9 times 8, do we agree? Yeah, the length is 9 and the width, or we could do 8 times 9. Okay? This is our length, this is our width. Okay? Alright, and then, so the area of first shape, or area of shape 1 is 72. What's my unit?
Meters.
Meters.
Meters what?
Squared.
Meters squared. Remember, area is two-dimensional. Okay, so any questions so far? Okay, now I need to go in and find the area of my second shape. What kind of shape is that?
Square. Rectangle.
It's a rectangle because we know that if it was a square, all sides would be equal. And in this case, they're not because they tell us this side measures 7 and this side measures 4. Okay? So now I'm going to go in and solve for the formula, or for the area using the formula, length times width, because I know it's a rectangle.
Is that a side too or
Okay.
no? We're not going to count that as a
This-
side? No. Yes, we're not going to count that as
This,
a side.
it's the side of this shape here. But you're not finding perimeter, so you don't need to count that. You're finding the area, that means the inside of the shape. Okay? If you're finding perimeter and then they told you you're putting fence in the middle, then you will need to worry about that side. We're not going to worry about that side because we want the area. That means the inside of the whole shape. That's why I drew it dotted because it's imaginary. It really doesn't exist there, right? I didn't have a shape with that line already there. I don't have two shapes or two. It could be like a house and a fence. I didn't have that, right? I just had one big shape. So that's why I just drew it dotted. Okay? Alright, now I'm going to go in and solve for my area. I need to use my dimensions. What am I multiplying here? 7 times 4. Okay? So any questions so far?
Why are you gonna multiply?
Because I'm finding area, right? So how do I find the area of a rectangle?
28.
Okay? Length times width, and the area of shape 2 is going to be what?
28 meters.
28 meters squared. Now, so this right here measures 72 centimeters, or 72 meters squared. This measures 28 meters squared. How do I find my total area?
Add multiply.
I heard both, multiply and add them.
You have to.
Add.
I'm going to add them. This right here, this section here is 72. This section is 28. Okay? So to find my total area, my area of the total shape, I'm going to add area 1 plus area 2. Okay. Leo, what part don't you get?
On that one, why'd you put 8 times 9 and you put up 16?
Because the 16 is the entire thing all the way across. I just wanted to know up to here. I'm just looking for the area of this part. So this 16 goes all the way across. So that's why I cannot use the 16. Does that make sense? Okay. Alright, any other question? I had a question over here. Sure? Yes, Leo.
What's that? The bottom.
The bottom is to find the total area, because the whole point of this is to find my total area, right? So I'm going to take, hold on, I'm going to take the area of shape 1. What's my area of shape 1, Leo?
72 meters squared.
Okay, so I'm going to take 72 meters squared plus, what am I adding for area 2?
28 meters.
28 meters squared, okay? And so then my total is going to be what?
100 meters squared.
Alright, so any questions so far? Shh. Any questions so far? Okay. So let's look at the second shape. Okay? The second shape. So it's right underneath it.
No, it's not. They're all rectangles.
Alright, so let me erase this now.
You said what color?
100 meters squared.
No.
Alright, so let's look at the second shape here. So my first question to you, how many shapes do we see here? How many individual shapes?
One.
Three.
Because they're all rectangles.
Individual, that means
Oh,
they're not
three.
the same.
Three.
Alright, so I heard 3, so we're going to go with that. And remember, you want to separate all 3 first,
So right there. Right
okay? So I'm going to go ahead and draw a dotted line here.
There. Hey, I'll record.
So that's 1. So far that's 2, right? Now I'm going to make my third one here. So any questions so far? Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and label this. This one's going to be area of triangle 1, or I mean shape 1, area of shape 2, and area of shape 3. Alright. Now what do you notice about area 1 and area 3?
They're
They're the same shape, and they should. If I look here, this one's 3, and that's 3. So remember, I'm not just eyeballing to say they look the same. I actually looked at my dimensions here. This is 3. So then this is 3 because they've given it to me. That's the only reason I know that they're equal. I'm not just going to look at the shape and say, oh, those two look equal. You have to use the numbers that they give you, the dimensions they give you. Okay? Alright, so firstly, I'm going to start with shape 1. I'm going to make sure that I have all the dimensions I need. So do I have the length and the width for area of shape 1? Okay, let's look at shape 2. Do I have the length for shape 2?
No.
No.
No, right? Do I have the width?
Yeah.
What's my width?
8.
8. Notice that they give me 8 here. Okay? Now, let's look at that. Someone raise your hand and tell me, how do you think we got 8? If they have a 14 down here, why is it 8?
Because I
Just
imagine
a
at the bottom, but it's only half.
Because you add to both sides and 4 and 4.
Not quite. What would this side measure here?
14.
What would this side measure here?
3.
3. And then this side?
3.
So what do those two sides give me together?
6.
And if I subtract that from 14, what do I get?
8.
So that's how they got that 8. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
But
Okay.
like, couldn't you just
Good.
bring that side down? That
Yeah.
eight
Yeah, but I wanted you to know why. But yes, you can do that. Alright, now let's look at our width here. Our length here. We don't have our length, right? So what we need to do is go in and figure it out. So first thing, I have to look at the other dimensions they give you. Is there any dimension I could use to solve for this piece here?
14 on the bottom. The 4.
Okay, I heard
7 and 4.
the 7 and 4 here. I think I'll go with that. You want to try that?
Yeah.
Alright, so if this whole thing measures 7, and this piece here measures 4, okay, I'm going to subtract, that's correct. And so what is this going to measure?
3.
3, okay? So that's how I get that, because if I added these two here, 4 and 3, it should give me my original dimension. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So that's how I get that, okay? So now I have the length and the width for the area of shape 2. I have the length and the width for this one, right? So there's my width, there's my length. So any questions so far?
So that's 3, 2. The dotted
This is because of this 4.
1 is 2. And the other one is 2.
No one on the
Yeah.
right.
But as long as you know 1, and it's a rectangle, so that means parallel sides are equal, right? So yes, and you don't have to write it, but you can. Okay, so are you ready to solve for the area of the shape now?
Yeah.
Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and find the area of shape 1, which I know it's a rectangle. So what formula do I use?
Base times height.
Length times width or base times height. Okay? And then in this case it's going to be 3 times 7, that is correct.
21.
So I get, that's correct. 21, now what are my units here?
Centimeters.
Centimeters what?
Square.
Squared. Okay, you have a question, Neil?
Why do you have to put like that comma?
You mean here? Just because I have 3 shapes, so that just means area of shape 1. Okay? If you wanted to, we could label these A, B, and C. That's just the way I like to label them. Area of shape 1, area of shape 2, area of shape 3. But you can do it any way you want to. To me, it's easier if you see that big A instead of A, B, and C. Because there's going to be other formulas later on that are going to use other variables, so I wouldn't want you to get confused. So I would just use A.
What's the second one?
You mean this? The second shape or the second number?
Yeah.
3 times 7.
But the variable, what variable?
That's the one.
Oh.
So
It's
shape
one.
3 is going to be the same as
Alright, so now we come over here, we're going to label this. I know that this measures 21 centimeters squared. Okay? Can I use that anywhere else?
Yeah, on the other side. For other side.
Yeah, with the other side, right? 21 centimeters squared. So now the only thing I have to do now is find the area of shape 2, right?
Yeah.
Alright, I'm going to do that over here. So here's my area of shape 2. What formula should I use?
Length and width.
Length times width, because I know it's a rectangle, right? So what numbers am I multiplying for this shape?
3 times 8.
3 times 8.
24.
Okay. And I get
24 centimeters squared.
24 centimeters squared. Alright, now what I want you to do, I'm going to give you a few seconds to try to figure out the total area of this shape now. Total area. Don't shout out the answer. I want you to figure it out. Try to figure out what you're going to do to figure out the total area of the shape.
Where's the third one? A3.
Do we need to solve for A3 or can we use this one? Well, what do we notice about these two shapes?
They're the same.
So what could we put over here? But it's not 8 by 8.
I draw 60.
What do you guys do over here? 66? What do you double check your weight for close, but you need double check. You're off balance. You know what you
I got a long.
I used to put the atom.
to go on the total area, what do I do?
Go for the 5.
You're missing one. It's got to be all 3 shapes.
Oh.
Alright, someone raise your hand and tell me, what do I get when I add all these 3? Alonso,
56 centimeters square.
56 centimeters, do you agree?
Yeah.
Alright, good job, because remember we're adding 21 centimeters squared, plus, and we're adding shape 2, which is 24 centimeters squared, and then shape 3 is 21. So when we add all 3 of those, we get 56 centimeters
56.
squared. Okay? Alright, any questions? Any questions?
Are we gonna work on the roots?
Alright, in a few minutes. Alright, next thing I want you to do, this is going to be the last one we're going to do. So first thing, what do I notice here? How many shapes do I see?
2.
3.
I heard 3.
2.
I see 2, right? A triangle and a rectangle. So this is going to be a little bit trickier because we have that rectangle, okay? So, just like before, we're going to go and draw a dotted line here,
Then you just draw a line.
okay? You can hand that sign. So here's my rectangle and there's my triangle. Does everybody see that?
No.
Alright, now before we start, remember, we have to identify the dimensions of those, so that way I know I'm using the correct dimension, okay? So for my rectangle, okay, the base is 12. What is the height of that rectangle? 4, right? Or the length and the width, right? So any questions on the rectangle? That should be easy, right? I'm going to figure that out just using those 2. Let's look at this triangle, okay? First thing, my base of the triangle is going to be what?
12.
12. If you have to, you can write it down here, 12 meters. And then I have to have a height because the formula requires a height. Okay? And so my base is 12 and my height is 4. How do I know my height is 4?
Because the meters. 4 minus 8.
Okay, because of these 8 meters, right? This dimension they give us here,
12 minus
we
8.
can, not 12 minus
4
8.
minus 8. Oh.
4 minus 8. I use what's on this side. Remember, those that are parallel, you use that. This, you use this. Okay? Alright, so then my height is going to be 4. That is correct. So any questions so far? Okay, now I'm going to go in and solve for my formula. So this is going to be, in this case, it's going to be, I'll just make that shape 1, and this is shape 2. Okay? Alright, so we said that shape 1 is just a rectangle, so what's my formula?
Rectangle.
Length times width, right? So length times width, so for area of shape 1, I'm multiplying what? 12 times 4. Okay? So any questions so far? And so that gives me,
48 meters squared.
alright, in this case, area 1 is equal to 48 meters squared. Alright, so let's look at the area for shape 2. What formula am I going to use there?
Base times height divided by 2.
What'd you say, Alonso?
Base times height divided by 2.
Base times height divided by 2. Remember, that's a triangle, so you always have to divide it by 2. Okay, so I want you to figure out the rest of it on your own. I'll give you about 2 minutes to do the rest of it on your own. Okay? That means figure out the area for the triangle and then figure out the total area for that composite figure. Okay? Figure it out. Figure it out. What did I say? One left right there. Okay, so what's your rate? Any lines for that shape? No. No, we're trying. Say it to me, you gotta do it. Let's have mine going. No,
One.
Now you find those other areas where you're gonna go down to that from one to the other. What'd you do when you do it? Okay, what do you do when you do it? Five. Okay, so what when you divide by two, what do you put there? So that's it, doing 48 and divide by two. What'd you get out? What'd you get, 12?
Oh. This is divided by two.
That's why you go like this. Find that.
Oh.
And then divide by two. What do you do? Okay, what you do? Okay, and you do what you told her. Okay, so what you told her then do? Alright, George, go show us the word for area of trying to shape. Yeah, that's all. Don't get very press on it, we're gonna press on it.
That's the tool, right? Yeah.
Continue.
Why'd you move it?
Not calculated. It's easy to calculate it. Just follow it.
Alright, good job. So our final answer is 72. Now what are our units here? Meter squared. Alright, good job. Alright, so any questions? Okay, so here you multiply 12 times 4. You've got 48. 48 divided by 2 is 24. And you added that 24 to the rectangle's area, which was 48, to get a total of 72 meters squared. Okay? Alright, any questions?
I divided that in my head.
Which one?
That's
This? Alright, last thing that you're going to do, I'm going to give each group a shape, and what you're going to do is, you're going to figure out in your row, you're going to figure out together the area of that shape. So each group is going to receive a different one, okay?
Who will receive it easier?
Listen. And what you're going to do is you're going to find the area of your particular shape for your group, okay? Now, I'm going to give opposite groups the same one so we can compare what our area is, or what area we got, okay? So any questions? Okay. So you two are going to work together on that one.
It's gonna go to water.
And then, Leah, I want you to go ahead and move over here so you can work with Monica on this one. You may write on the paper, so that paper is yours. Put your name on it, you and your group member's name. I'm waiting for everybody to sit down. Okay, Diana, that means sit down. Alright, you have room at the bottom here. It says sketch your composite figure. So sketch it because you're not getting this back. So I want you to draw your shape. Just sketch it. Remember, it doesn't have to be perfect. I'm not going to measure it. Just make a sketch of what yours looks like. Okay? You can write on that one as well. Okay? But you want to show your work on this paper as well because this paper is what you're going to turn in. So you want to make sure your work is on this paper as well. Does that make sense? So quickly, I want you working on that in your groups. And then at the end, I will let your groups compare with the group that had your same shape. Okay? Okay, well, what's your question?
How we gonna find this one, the bottom of 6?
Well, what do you know about parallel lines or parallel sides of a rectangle?
That's a square.
Well, if I look at those dimensions, I have 4 and a 6. Is that a square?
No.
No, right? So what am I going to do with those opposite sides? What do I know about opposite sides of a rectangle?
One parallel.
Or parallel, what do you know? So if this side...
This one would be the same.
Okay. Can you try from there? Start working.